Coding made
easy. So what's up everybody, and welcome to a brand new tutorial series. And in this tutorial series we're going to be learning about an awesome library called Libgdx. Now Libgdx, what it allows us to do is have one code base and deploy it to multiple platforms. So we'll just write the code once and we can say, okay, we want to deploy it to Android, or we want to deploy it to iOS, or deploy it to HTML, or deploy it to desktop. And we can deploy it to 4 different platforms with just one code base, and we just have to do minimal changes. We most times you don't even have to make any changes to your code, to be honest. And so that's what makes Libgdx really awesome, is that you can reach a wide audience with just one piece of code, instead of having to port from one piece of code to another piece of code. So what I'd like to let you know is, if you are a C++ or C# developer, you should be able to follow along. Java, I'm not going to be using really advanced Java terms, and a lot of the stuff is going to be the exact same, so you don't have to really worry about it. What I will tell you to do though is to watch my CodingMadeEasy tutorial on how to set up an IDE Eclipse with the Java development kit if you do not have an IDE ready. So in this tutorial we are going to set up Libgdx with IntelliJ and with Eclipse. I'm going to do it with IntelliJ because a lot of people like it, and that is my favorite Java IDE. There is limitations because for whatever reason I cannot get the HTML to work with IntelliJ. So if you want to deploy to HTML, then you will have to go back to Eclipse to deploy it. But besides that, you can get everything. You can get the desktop and Android running. I will not be able to do iOS tests on this in this tutorial series because I do not have a Mac. But for those of you who have a Mac, feel free to deploy to iOS. I don't know if there's any additional changes I have to do. I have not tested it because I do not have a Mac. But without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to type in Libgdx download. Click download it here, and we're going to download the latest release, and it's just a zip file. Save it where you like. And what we're going to do is we're just going to type in Libgdx setup UI. Now we can set up all the different project templates manually, but that really takes a long time and it doesn't make sense. So somebody made up a GUI in order to do all that stuff for us, so we can be lazy. And so we're just gonna click the second link here, and we're gonna scroll all the way to the bottom, and we're gonna click the download page, and we're gonna click the zip file. And all that zip file contains, it just contains a jar file, and you'll want to drag and drop that somewhere that you'll remember, because for every Libgdx project you make, you're going to want to use the setup UI. Now for the people that are going to be deploying, you actually need Android whether you're deploying to Android or not. So we're going to click Android SDK. I'm going to click the SDK, and we are going to, let me just move this down. We're going to say use existing IDE, and we're going to download the developer tools, read it. Obviously I know you guys don't read it. And we're just going to click download SDK tools for Windows. And that's going to give you an installation file. And let me just pause this. For whatever reason, my screen manager decided to kind of freeze and cut off, so sorry for that. But yeah, you want to download the SDK tools, and you want to run the installer after you've done it, and you want to save it somewhere. So just to show you, I've saved mine in my D drive, and these are the folders that I have inside there. Now you're going to want to open up the SDK Manager. And the SDK Manager, it looks a bit daunting, but basically you need to download the version of Android, or the versions of Android that you want to be developing for. So say you want to only develop, and the reason why there's these different versions is because the higher the version, the different functionalities they'll have, the new functionality they'll have. So, but if you want to support a wide range of phones, then you can do for Android 2, but you're not gonna have as much functionality as Android 4. For our games though, I don't think it will matter too much because we're not actually going to deep into the actual Android framework, but it's just for you guys in case you guys need it. I downloaded Android 4.0 and 4.0.3 because I have the Galaxy S3, but it's up to you, and you just want to select it and just install all the packages and install every single and you want to install the platform tools and the SDK tools and yada yada yada. So once you've gotten that installed, then you're pretty much good to go. So what I want you to do now is I want you to, wherever you put your GDX setup UI, I want you to open that up. Now, I want you to click create, and this is where we're actually going to name our game. So we're just going to say Libgdx YouTube. Okay. So that's a simple name. Now for the package name, now it needs to be a unique name, because when we deploy it to say Android or something, every single Android game has a unique ID name. So what normally people do will put their website URL name backwards. So for me, I would say ca.CodingMadeEasy whatever the game is. So I'll just call it Libgdx, and therefore it's my unique ID. So whenever I put it on the Play Store or whatever, it can identify it as something. I have the main game class. You can call it whatever you want. I'll just call it Libgdx YouTube. And we can choose, we need to install Android by default, but we can choose to, if we want to do desktop, HTML, and iOS. The reason why we need Android by default is because the assets folder where all the images and stuff are in, it has all the default files we need to in order to run our program. So this is the destination file, and I'm just going to put it in a new folder, and I'm just going to call it like I've called it before. Alright. And I'm just going to open that. So our project's going to go in there, and what's required, we don't really care about these third-party stuff, but what's required is Libgdx, right? And right now it's red, so we want to browse, and we need to browse to where we actually installed the Libgdx zip file, right? So all you're going to do is just select the zip file and click open. And once you do this, this is going to light up green. And as you can see on the right pane, you can see all of the projects that are going to be generated. So one thing I forgot to mention is that make sure the Libgdx installation isn't in like an administrative folder or something where it's going to require permission, because then it's going to fail. You're going to run into some errors. So make sure nothing is in make sure like the destination file or Libgdx wherever is not in an administrative folder. So we're going to open the generation screen, and we're going to click launch, and if everything's done, it's going to go fine, and it's going to say all done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open up Eclipse, wait for it, la 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 la. Okay, so we're going to, you know what, I'm going to create a new workspace. Sorry, Java YouTube workspace. Oh, whatever. So just wait for this to load. So while it's loading, yeah, for the good thing about Eclipse is that it has it's very popular. I don't like it because I feel like it looks ugly, but it's free, and a lot of people, why did the web browser close? But a lot of people like it because it's free. So even if you don't, that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do with IntelliJ if you don't like the look and feel, but majority of the times you might need to go back to Eclipse for certain things. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to click, well, before we even start, sorry, there's one more thing that we got to install. So we're going to type in GWT Eclipse plugin download, and we want to go to the developers, the Google's developers webpage, and we're going to select Google plugin for Eclipse. Now, depending on which version of Eclipse, I'm assuming you have the oldest version, you're going to want to highlight this link right here. So we're going to go back to Eclipse, and we're going to click help, and we're going to click install new software. So we're going to paste this URL in there, click add. You can name it whatever you want, doesn't really matter. Well, I don't think it matters, or you don't even have to name it anything at all. So we want to download everything but the NDK plugins. You can install if you want, but I don't believe that you need that. And we're just gonna do that. We're just gonna click next, next. We're gonna accept the terms, and we're gonna finish. And basically what the GWT does is that it's going to allow us to deploy and test our stuff in our favorite web browser. So we're going to wait for this stuff to finish, or in the meantime or whatever, we'll import our project. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to file, and we're gonna click import, and we want to go to general, and we're gonna say existing files into workspace. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the folder where we deployed our game using the setup UI. So we're gonna go to our project folder and just click it. We don't want to select any of the folders. Yeah, when this warning comes up, just click OK. So we're just gonna set the folder, and we're not gonna select any of the subfolders. So we're gonna click that. All of these are selected, and we're just gonna click finish. So sorry about that. I just paused it so that it would go through all the loading and all that stuff, and we could actually get back to our project. So if you don't see your project, exit the welcome screen, or you just go Windows, Show View, and then Project Explorer, and this should show up. So some of you, if you go to the problems tab, you guys might get an error that looks like this. So I'm already getting some errors with the iOS, because I'm gonna delete that folder, because like there's no point, because we're not doing anything with iOS. But you guys might get a warning, and the warning might, if you look at the bottom right here, it says how do you fix that warning. You might get this warning right here, and all you have to do is just right click on it, click quick fix, and then click synchronize and finish, and the error should go away. So in order to compile the HTML, you would have to right click. So let me just move this up. Right click, go to Google, and JWT compile. Now, warning, compiling an HTML document takes life. It takes forever. So only compile it when you're actually ready to run it. Now, when you're ready to run, you would just click run as web application. Sorry. You'll click, well, firstly, what I'm going to do is go to the run at the top, and I'm going to say run configurations, and I've already done this, but we're going to click server, and we're going to say automatically select unused port, and you can click run from here, just close. So I'll just click run, and it will do this, and it'll give you a URL. Now if you double click that URL, normally it will tell you that you have to download this plugin. Forget about that. Just erase this link from the gwt.code server equals, just remove that, and just click enter, and your program should run. So there you go, your program is running in the web browser. So now if we want to run it as a desktop, we just right click, just run as, and a Java application. And we'll select main, click OK, and voila, the game's running in a window. And if we want to run on Android, we will select run as and an Android application, and we can We can set up an emulator, but the emulators are really slow. So what I would do is it's better to test it on your phone. So what you'll do is plug it in your phone if you have an Android device, and so I just plugged in my Android device, and you click run as Android application. So it needs a fix. So I'm guessing that it has not detected my phone yet. Probably takes a while. And what you have to do is in your phone you're gonna have to set it to developer settings. But yeah, and also when you're setting up your when you're setting up your Android project, just make sure that you'll click on project and properties, and make sure you select which API you actually currently want to use, because it might be using a newer API or an older API than you actually want to use. So anyways, let's try running it again, see if it detects my phone. So it contains errors. Never seen this error before. Okay, so what I realized is I forgot to do this. So what we want to do is go to run and run configurations. We want to select Android project, and we want to select the target. So what it's doing is it's trying to select a virtual device, but we actually want to launch it on our phone, so our phone itself. So let's just click always prompt, and we'll say apply, and we'll say run. Okay, so I've never seen that error before, but I searched it up and it seems to be a simple fix thanks to Stack Overflow. So what we want you to do is right click, and I want you to go to build path and configure build path, and go to libraries, and there should be something called Android dependencies. Just click on it and then just click the delete button and just click OK to get out of there. And now we're gonna run, and as you can see my device right there, I'm gonna double click my device, just turn it on, and it's running in my program flawlessly. So that's it for this tutorial. I know it was long, I know it was really long, but rest assured, now all you have to do whenever you want to create a brand new project is you just have to use the GDX setup UI, just import it, and you're gonna be good to go. Now that's it for Eclipse users. So for IntelliJ users, we're gonna do the same process. I would advise you to still have Eclipse installed. So we're going to do the same process, but after you're done this process with Eclipse and it's fully working in Eclipse, what we're going to do is we're going to open IntelliJ. So let me open IntelliJ. Oh my gosh, come on, Windows 8. And just wait for it to load up. Okay, so once it loads up, we are going to select to import the project. And where's our project? It's in the Java projects, and it is called, what did we call it? Libgdx YouTube. So we're gonna click that, and we're gonna say import project from an external model, and we want to make sure it's over Eclipse. We're gonna click next, and we're gonna click next again, and we're gonna link everything. We need to link. It's gonna ask us for the default SDK in an Android platform, and we're just gonna click finish. And it's gonna give us it'll give us like this red error. Don't worry about it, just click OK, and we're gonna get right into the program. So just let it load everything. It feels like it needs to load. So we're going to open up our project really quickly, and now we're going to select run, and we're gonna just click run, and we wanna, you know what, go to source, and I'm gonna click main, and I'm gonna say run main. And it's doing its work at the bottom, as you can see right there. As you can see, we're getting an error, right? So it just popped up and it disappeared, and there's a reason for that. By default, the Eclipse file system does the linking of the assets folder. What it does is it takes the assets folder and distributes it evenly along with the desktop and the HTML. This doesn't do that by default. So what we're going to do is click run, edit configurations, and in the main, what we're going to do is we're going to set the working directory to that assets folder in the HTML directory. So we're going to go to HTML, not HTML, Android, and we're going to select the assets. And so that's going to be our working directory, and we're just going to click OK. So we're going to try running this one more time. And voila, it works. And if I try it on my Android, it should work again flawlessly. Run. And it's asking me to create a virtual device. So normally you'd have to create a virtual device if you don't have an Android phone, but I do have a phone, so I'm just going to set it up to work with my phone. So I believe you go to edit configurations, and we are going to say USB device under Android, and we're just going to click OK. So we're going to run it again. Take my phone off sleep mode. I know you guys can't see this, but I will make it so you guys can see it in future tutorials. And it works flawlessly on my phone. So anyways, if you have any errors, which you might have because it is a long installation process, please let me know, and I will try to help you out as best as I can. As for right now, if you do not have the ultimate version, the GWT plugin is not built into it, and there's been a lot of problems. Half the times it works, half the time it doesn't work for me for HTML, so that's why I'm not even going to try to do it with IntelliJ. If you would like to do some HTML, I would just advise you do it with, just compile it with Eclipse. So if you like the framework in IntelliJ, just do your testing on the desktop and Android in here, and then when your project is done and you want to convert it for the web, just import your project to Eclipse and just compile it for HTML. But that's it for this tutorial. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. I'm working on my website so you guys can post on my forums soon. Don't be afraid to like my page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and add me on BBM and Steam if you like. So bye for now.